When your life changes suddenly, whether through injury, illness, or a major transition, time starts to feel different, days blur into each other, mornings lose their meaning, and the nights just seem to stretch on forever. You start asking yourself, what does a normal day even look like now? For me, rebuilding a routine wasn't just about managing my time. It was about reclaiming my identity. Because structure gives shape to our healing, and healing, no matter how slow it feels, deserves a rhythm. Welcome to InspireAbility, the space where real stories meet real strength. I'm Ruby, and today we're talking about something so simple, yet incredibly powerful: routine, when everything in my life was turned upside down after my accident. I lost so much more than just physical independence. I lost the rhythm that used to guide my days, the work, the deadlines, the meetings, the constant movement. At first, I completely resisted any kind of structure. I kept telling myself, why bother planning when nothing ever goes as planned anyway? But over time, I started to realize something important. Routine isn't about perfection. It's about grounding yourself. Reclaiming a sense of order after chaos is, in itself, an act of healing. It's like saying to the world and to yourself, even here, in this new reality, I can build again. The weeks right after my accident felt like time had just stopped having any meaning. Morning, afternoon, night, it all just blurred into one long, continuous stretch of uncertainty. Every single plan I used to live by was just gone. I remember sitting by the window for hours, just watching the world move on without me, seeing the emails I couldn't answer pile up, knowing that meetings were happening without my voice in the room. The silence that filled what used to be such busy, productive hours was deafening. But what I didn't know then was that this chaos was actually part of a recalibration. When your life collapses, the absence of structure isn't a failure. It's just empty space, making room for something new to form. Routines don't have to start out perfect or grand. They can start by simply asking yourself, what matters most to me right now? And that one simple question became the tiny seed from which I started rebuilding my rhythm. So the first step to reclaiming my days was all about simplicity. It started with one consistent wake-up time, then one small, manageable task to complete before noon, and one quiet moment of stillness before bed. It sounds incredibly small, I know, but those little moments started to build something much bigger. Momentum. There's something so quietly powerful about knowing what's coming next, especially when you're living an unpredictable life. My routine became a source of comfort, not a constraint. For people with disabilities, chronic illness, or really anyone who's rebuilding their life after trauma, these small routines create a sense of safety. They give you a feeling of control in a world that once felt completely uncontrollable. Each morning I would open my eyes and think, okay, this is the first step, and that small start, that simple thought, changed everything for me. Before my accident, my idea of productivity was all about output. It was about ticking boxes, hitting targets, and just constantly doing. But afterwards, I had to completely redefine what being productive even meant. Some days, progress just meant getting out of bed. On other days, it meant making the conscious choice to rest instead of pushing through the pain. And that shift from a mindset of doing more to one of doing meaningfully completely changed how I measured success. I learned that productivity is not about how much you do. It's about how well you honor your energy. For me, that meant replacing the constant hustle with a sense of harmony. Because when you truly honor your own pace, even the smallest actions can build real, lasting momentum. Once I began creating these new rhythms for myself, I learned that consistency comes from compassion, not from pressure. A truly sustainable routine is one that can flex and adapt with your needs. On good days, you might have the energy to do more, but on the tough days, you might just focus on your breathing, and that's okay. That's still part of the plan. The goal isn't to control every single moment of your day. It's to feel safe within them. So I started adding little rituals that nurtured that sense of stability. Journaling, making gratitude lists, doing gentle morning stretches, taking time to eat my meals slowly, and making space for time with loved ones. Each one of these became like a thread, weaving safety and purpose back into the fabric of my days. You don't rebuild a routine overnight. You grow into it one day at a time, with patience and kindness towards yourself. Routine used to feel like boring repetition to me. Now it feels like a rhythm. It's how I remind myself that even when life slows down, I can still lead it with intention. Every plan I make, every boundary I set, every small action I take is a declaration that says, I'm still here, I'm still building. My routine has become my quiet rebellion, my proof that even in the midst of uncertainty, I still have agency. Because when you reclaim your rhythm, you reclaim your power. And that right there is the heartbeat of resilience. If you're in a place where you're rebuilding your life after a big change, I encourage you to start with just one rhythm, one small daily act that says, I choose to show up today. Remember, routines aren't about being rigid or controlling. They're about building trust that stability can exist again, even after a period of instability. You can build peace back into your days, and with every repetition, every small action, you are writing a new story for yourself, a story of structure, of strength, and of self-respect. This is InspireAbility, where every routine becomes a rhythm of renewal. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.